New this morning on your Fast Track to 7, Fargo police are making a pitch for a new headquarters on the city's south side. This is the current headquarters on 25th Street, just north of Main Avenue.
At last night's City Commission meeting, police outlined two options that they're now currently looking at. One option would see construction of a new police department campus with on-site headquarters, training facilities, and even consolidated evidence storage. The other would retrofit their current headquarters into a new police substation or city building, while still building a new headquarters and separate training facility.
Both plans hope to reduce response times by building 3 additional substations across the city. And both plans would have a timeline of 5 to 7 years if approved.
West Fargo police getting a new virtual reality system to train for active shooter situations, and will be the first department in the state to use the new system. City commissioners approved the $95,000 project last night.
The FBI considers the training system the gold standard of active shooter training. It trains officers in various real-world scenarios, including mental health calls. The program is funded with the 0.5% public safety sales tax that went into effect last July. We have a breaking news update out of the Duluth area. Police in Cloquet, Minnesota are now confirming 3 people are dead after authorities alerted the public to an active shooter last night.
The shooting started around 5 p.m. near a Super 8 hotel and across the street from a busy strip mall and restaurant. As we look at all of this footage in the aftermath, the shooter is among the dead, but police are not yet releasing any victims' names. A missing person report out of Perham, Minnesota. Take a look at your screen. Police are asking people to check their property and outbuildings for this woman, 33-year-old Alexandria Bricker. She hasn't been in contact with friends or family since before Christmas. She's originally from Waseca, but was staying with family in Perham. Bricker was last spotted on a trail camera near the Ottertail River south of Perham. It was nearly 3 weeks ago.
She's a white female, 5'7", 180 pounds, with shoulder-length brown hair. She was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, a dark gray sweatshirt, and a tan stocking cap. Contact the Ottertail County Sheriff's Office if you have any information about Alexandria Bricker. Switching gears, let's send things over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Lisa.
Good morning. On this Tuesday, it's a little chilly out there. We've got some areas where we have some fog even to start off this morning. So a morning where it's quiet enough for that. And just in general, in comparison to what's coming our way, it's going to be a quieter morning here this morning. This is our view in Fargo. You can see along I-94. We've got some good visibility, nice and quiet. 8 degrees our current temperature. The air is calm. And so our wind chill is at the same number. Moorhead at 7 degrees, visibility reported at 10. Sunset now at 4:57, getting close to that 5 p.m. mark. And in Grand Forks, quiet and cold there too. In fact, we've seen temperatures drop below 0 in Grand Forks. This is not the first time this season that we've seen sub-zero temperatures in Grand Forks at the airport, but at the National Weather Service site in town, they did just drop below 0. So again, seeing some areas that are feeling a little colder than others at 3 below, and very light wind as well with good visibility in Grand Forks. But not everyone can say that. Here's a look at our visibility reports coming in from Can-Do. Visibility's at 0, so some dense fog there. Devil's Lake starting to see our number come down at 1.25 miles visibility. We're at 2.5 miles in the Roseau area, and then in the Southern Valley, checking in a couple of areas in Lakes Country, seeing some reduced visibility. Elbow Lake is at 2 miles and Wadena's at 5. So watching a couple of those areas, especially in the Can-Do region where our visibility is so low. Snowflakes might have a few of those flurries flying in our very southeastern viewing area on the fringes of, again, that major storm system affecting other parts of the Midwest and the country, but it is generally brushing by us and moving on. Here's a look at our forecast for the bus stop. Cold for kids, want to make sure they're bundled up. Temperatures by this afternoon getting into the teens. We will see some sunshine, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And again, a lot of red on our 11-day planner each day. That's red there is a first alert weather day. Tomorrow for the snow that we'll be tracking for you. Make sure you check with us over the next 24 hours on what's going on. Of course, Russ and Summer will have the latest here this evening. And then heading into Thursday, expect to see temperatures that start their drop, and we'll really feel it heading into Sunday, kind of the coldest core of this Arctic air mass moving in several days in a row. We'll have to watch out for those wind chills too.
Yeah, the big story, the snow, and then that deep freeze.
Yes, and it will last for a while. It's not just a quick hit and moves on. We'll have to kind of deal with this for several days.
Snow, wind, cold, triple threat there. Thank you, Lisa.
New details now emerging about the man who ambushed police last July in South Fargo. Newly unsealed court documents show police were tipped off at least twice about Mohammed Bearcat possibly being dangerous. But in both cases, police couldn't arrest him for anything because he hadn't broken any laws.
The first tip came in 2021 when a Minnesota woman contacted the FBI's National Threat Operations Center about her concerns that he'd become a mass shooter. She said Bearcat had many weapons, was mentally unstable, and had been uttering racial and LGBTQ slurs. Members of the Fargo Police Metro Street Crimes Unit made contact with Bearcat and did find a number of firearms and ammunition at his home, but he claimed he had no intentions of hurting anyone.
A second interaction came just last May. It was only 2 months before the deadly shooting of Officer Jake Wallin. On May 4th, the Cass County Wildlife Club alerted the sheriff's office that Bearcat had been using the explosive tannerite at their gun range, which is against their rules. Bearcat told police he had been stockpiling that chemical for personal use, which was not illegal.
The other documents detail much of what we already know was found at Bearcat's home and garage after the shooting, including weapons, ammunition, and explosives. It was that plus his internet search history that led police to believe Bearcat was planning a mass casualty event on the day he was killed, either at the Red River Valley Fair in West Fargo or the downtown Fargo Street Fair.
It's now 50 years in prison for a man who killed 67-year-old Douglas Elgert in Grand Forks in 2022. A jury convicted Kindy Jalot of murdering and tampering with evidence in his death. Police found the stabbing victim in a North Side neighborhood. Jalot told police he threw away the evidence because he was scared of getting into trouble. DNA on the knife handle, though, matched Jalot's fingerprints.
The man accused in a deadly hit and run in Wapaton is pleading not guilty to the charges. Chad Olson admits he knew he was in some kind of crash last October, but he drove off thinking he hit a mailbox or a dog. He also told investigators that he had been drinking earlier that day and may have passed out at the wheel. Police reports also indicate he was driving 25 miles over the speed limit. Olson is charged in the death of 20-year-old Bailey Bernstein, who was walking on the shoulder of the road that night with her mother. Olson's defense is arguing that North Dakota law says pedestrians must use a sidewalk when it's provided. Homeowners in the Osgood neighborhood of South Fargo are adding up the damages from broken fences, which many think is the result of a viral TikTok challenge. One man says he got a notification on his surveillance camera, and when he looked outside, could see someone filming while 3 other people jumped out of the car, ran through the fence, and then jumped back into the car and drove away.
Yeah, we found out it's part of a nationwide trend, all based on the old Kool-Aid Man commercial.
I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but I do think, there should be some consequence. At some point, you're a high school person, you vandalize someone's equipment or property, and that's a crime.
Fargo police say they haven't gotten any reports of this happening, but in other cases across the U.S., charges have been formally filed against people participating in this challenge. North Dakotans who use SNAP benefits may qualify for food replacements if you lost any food in the recent power outages through your fridge or freezer around the areas, but you need to act fast.
You have 10 days from the day you lost the food to report to the state's Human Services Support Center. We have all the details you need to know at valleynewslive.com or on the VNL News app. Here's a traffic alert for people driving in North Fargo today. The city is shutting the eastbound lanes of 12th Avenue North near NDSU between 9th and 10th Streets, starting at 8 this morning. Crews need to make water utility repairs in that area, and work should be done by the end of the day.
Well, the Michigan Wolverines are this year's college football national champions. Yep, they beat the Washington Huskies in a 34-13 victory at the NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas last night.
It's the team's first national title in the playoff era. Running back Blake Corum was named the offensive MVP of the game.
Yeah, and if you remember that recent scandal for sign stealing, and still the Wolverines come out on top. Pretty interesting.
And what do you think, Michigan girly?
Woo.
Yeah, Wolverines.
I'll take the win, right?
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us here on the Valley today. The Today Show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, and if you're heading out the door, be sure to bundle up. It's a cold Tuesday.
See you tomorrow.